And I'm so excited because today I have a amazing guest, and I'm happy to say a fellow council person, but more than just a fellow, he is the new vice mayor for the city of Miami Gardens. So I'm saying, why are we bringing the vice mayor on to our talk for Healthy You? Because secretly, if you don't know, he's a runner. And he inspired me while I was campaigning to come on out and start exercising, even though I love working out, and Healthy You is one of my babies because I believe in health and wellness. I was so inspired to continue despite campaigning, and it's so important. But he's our guest because we're in Heart Health Month. And I'm so impressed with the work that Vice Mayor Stevens has been doing for years now at the beginning of the year. Could you tell us a little bit about the fitness challenge that you started?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Dr. Powell, for the invite to be here with you
My pleasure.
this afternoon. And you just reminded me, we did meet on the
Yeah.
trail
At 5:30 in the morning.
at 5:30 in the morning. What a wonderful way to get the day started.
Yes.
I definitely think morning cardio is so refreshing, and it's better than coffee. Um, so when I got in office, one of the promises that I kept to then Mayor Gilbert, now County Commissioner, was to continue the city's fitness challenge.
Nice.
It was an initiative that he had started and had been doing for years,
Nice.
and the response and the participation from the community was so high that it was something that I knew that we must continue
Definitely.
because people were really vested and interested in the overall summit. I mean, challenge.
Yes.
So what we do every year is a citywide fitness challenge where we bring in instructors from our local gyms that lives here in the city of Miami Gardens and provide a week-long classes for 6 weeks, encouraging the residents to work out. We do everything from fitness boot camp to yoga, trap yoga,
Nice.
nutrition, healthy eating
Nice.
with Eat Well Exchange. And the list goes on and on and on
Yeah.
because it's so important that we provide resources to the community that will provide them with assist them with their healthy living.
Awesome. That is so amazing and wonderful because my initiative is to have a healthy gardens.
Mhm.
And it was wonderful to know that in place was the fitness challenge that had been going on by the then Mayor Gilbert and now carried on by
Mhm.
you. So why is fitness important? Fitness is important for cardiovascular health because February we were talking about heart health. You know, all the things that we can do to improve our heart. Besides taking our medications if we have high blood pressure, besides reducing stress in our life if we have a stressful life, besides taking and eating healthy and well, having physical fitness is important for the heart because many people don't realize that the heart is a muscle.
For sure.
So another question I wanted to ask you, because you're also a minister, if you
Yeah.
guys don't know, um, Vice Mayor Stevens is the minister for Logos.
Yes.
And as a minister, how important is sharing the message of health and wellness to your congregation? And what things have you done within your congregation to promote fitness?
It's very important. In fact, we offer free fitness classes on Thursdays at the
Oh,
church,
nice.
encouraging the membership and friends and families to come out and work out. I have a fitness instructor that comes out and lead the
Nice.
classes. And this about 2 weeks ago, because we're in Heart Month,
Yes.
we asked everyone in the church to wear red. So we had different shades of red in the sanctuary. And then we had a physician to come and talk about the importance of
Nice.
the heart and how you must work out to keep going and be healthy. So we try to pair with our health and wellness ministry,
Yes.
raise awareness around health overall. We're
Yes.
taking the holistic approach and not just, you know, different months and different things, but
Yes.
constantly raising an issue around making sure we do right about our health and we
Correct.
do right about our fitness activities.
Yes, that is also amazing and wonderful. And one of the things we discussed before we started our show today was for individuals who are part of a spiritual body, a church, how important a
Yeah,
healthy church, to coin, is a wealthy church,
that's
because
right.
the wealth comes with the when your congregation is able to participate and not debilitated because they are sick at home. Yes, there are things that will make you sick, but there are also things that on the spiritual side and in your ministry and other ministries, and for those ministers who are out there, that you can do, like incorporating great
Mm-hmm.
ideas, having fitness challenges within your
Mm-hmm.
church,
Mm-hmm.
incorporating a health ministry within the church. And also, if you don't have one at your church, feel free to spearhead one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can see Vice Mayor for tips on how to get it
Yeah.
kicked off, setting you up there for that. Do you find over the years since you've been doing this fitness challenge that what kind of impact do you think it's had on the overall health of Miami Gardens residents?
Well, you often say, Councilwoman, a hefty community is a wealthy community. So I definitely see the benefit of our communities lasting, and lasting longer because of things such as the fitness challenge, because of our quarterly walks, because of the gardens that were popping up throughout Miami
Yes.
Gardens, Park and Recreation initiative. Because of those hefty initiatives, we are a better community,
Yes.
which I believe will position us to be a lasting one for sure.
Definitely. So I'm so glad and thankful that you came, Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
I know how busy your schedule is. He's got two hats, Minister and Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
But he has not stopped working on health and wellness. And I just want to let everybody know there's a walk coming up this Saturday.
For sure.
And please join the Vice Mayor to participate. 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not 5:30 like he dragged me out, but it's a walk. Come out. It's a great time to take your family, start teaching your children how to incorporate fitness as part of a healthy life and a long life. So thank you so much, Vice
No,
Mayor. I
my
so
pleasure.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So our next guest that we're going to have is is a long-standing patient of mine, and I am so thankful that she took the time to come on out. But while we're getting her geared up and mic'd up, I want to go over some tips that you need to have and incorporate in your life. First and foremost, for heart health, number one, eat healthy. Try to avoid high processed and salty foods. My big theory is, and I teach it all the time, when you want to eat, I want you to eat out the ground, off the tree, and free reign. What do I mean by that? Fruits and vegetables out the ground and off the tree, and also non fried, greasy, and salt filled foods. Because we know, and it's not anymore a theory. Welcome, Ms. Rodney.
Welcome. I'm honored.
Thank you so much.
Hmm.
It's no longer just blood pressure medicine that helps to control your blood pressure, which can affect your heart health. You have to incorporate the things that also matter. Lifestyle, who are the people, places, and things that are contributing to raising your pressure, your stress level. In addition, as we talked earlier about fitness, making fitness a part of your life, like brushing your teeth. So our guest today is Miss Arliss Carrion. She's also a
A Zeta,
Zeta. So
yes.
she's here also representing, but she's also been a patient of mine for a very
Mm.
long time. And she shared with me something that we usually don't talk a lot about as it affects heart health. And that's a condition called eclampsia and preeclampsia. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, preeclampsia is a disease that you get during pregnancy. And a lot of women, we don't know that we have it
Yes.
until we start exhibiting some of the symptoms. In my case, I only can speak for me. When I became pregnant at age 24, I didn't know about my family history, so it's so important to start speaking to like your mother and grandparents and everything. When I started my first trimester, when I went to the doctor, they started telling me, oh, what are you doing? Your blood pressure is elevated. And I said, well, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. And they started wanting to know about my diet intake. I started telling them what I was doing.
So I want to stop you right there. So you're telling me you did not have high blood pressure before pregnancy?
No, not at all.
Okay. And you're only 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I want our audience to understand that pregnancy can induce and cause hypertension. It's not everyone, but just as she's sharing with us,
Mm-hmm.
she was hypertensive free. And so it was alarming when you went in, as you're saying, that now you had hypertension, high
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure, and they didn't know why. So
Yeah,
continue.
and then they started asking me about my family history. And as I stated, sometimes family is like taboo in the Black community. They don't tell you everything.
Right.
I was going to the gym every day, working full time, going to school full time.
Wow.
And as I was going in for my checkup, to see my OBGYN, he started saying, oh, you're going to have to stop work. You're going to have to be on bed rest. And I'm like, why? I didn't want to have to start my daily routine, but yes, you have to follow the doctor's orders.
Yes.
So I went into the hospital. I was on bed rest.
Wow.
They placed me on a medication called Aldamed.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing, they just didn't want me to get out of bed. And as I stated, I started talking to my family. My mom started telling me, oh, yeah, when I was pregnant with your sister, after I went in a coma, I had high blood pressure.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't know these things.
So let me understand, how high did your pressure get that they were alarmed?
My pressure had gotten so high that it was like, I think it was like it was like stroke, about to have stroke, like 160 over one. When the bottom number, the dystolic in late terms, the bottom number was like 110.
Wow.
And right then, the doctor said, we're going to have an ambulance. Right from the doctor's office, they
Took you to the
took
hospital.
me in an ambulance straight to the
Wow.
hospital.
For our audience, normal
Mhm.
blood pressure under 55 should be 120 over 80 and lower. 120 over 80. So write that down. The top number is systolic. That's when the heart is squeezing. And the bottom number is diastolic, when the heart is resting. So your heart is doing this. So the squeezing is the top number and the resting is the bottom. 180 is extremely high. It's stroke levels. And the bottom number being at 110, which is way over 80, is also alarming. So they took you to the hospital.
They took me to the hospital. I was put on bed rest. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks.
Wow, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. They monitored, they, like I said, back then they, how they put the catheter in. So making sure that I didn't get out of bed, they put me on a low salt diet.
Were you on IV medications or did they give you oral medication?
It was IV medication.
Wow.
And the main thing that concerned me was we did not know, and we do need to know about our health. We need to know about our family history.
Yes.
And to come to find out, it was in my family history. My sister had a baby in 6 months at Jackson.
In 6 months. So she had a premature baby.
Right, premature baby, because of we did not know our family history. And matter of fact, her daughter was the first baby born when they started the preemie unit. Was born 1 pound.
Wow.
1 pound.
In 6 months, it was a 1 pound baby.
Right. And she's now 45 years old. My niece, praise God.
Yes.
But leading back to that, it is so important that we get, to go to the doctor, know our family history,
Yes.
start doing our diet, taking, low salt, anything, just mainly your family history, knowing about it. But it can happen to anyone, but mainly I'm not just saying the Black community, but we're one of the number one high risk women.
So key word, you said that.
Mm-hmm.
When you have elevated blood pressure during pregnancy, whether you've had blood pressure, hypertension before your pregnancy, or whether it occurs during pregnancy, you're now in a classification called high risk. And that requires special consideration. In fact, there are gynecologists, those who deliver babies who specialize in that area called a high-risk pregnancy. Now, it's important, and I'm going to clarify for our audience so they're really clear. We're dealing with two terms. One term is eclampsia,
Mm-hmm.
which her mother had when her pressure became so elevated that she went into a coma. And you can also have seizures. That's eclampsia. That's very dangerous, and you can die and have a stroke from it. The other is preeclampsia, which is usually the headaches, which comes with a really high blood pressure. Now, preeclampsia, if uncontrolled, if the pressure stays uncontrolled for a long period of time, you can end up in eclampsia, which now can lead to seizure and a stroke. Now, you have to keep in mind, you're pregnant. You have a child that requires blood and requires to be fed by you in the uterus. And with your pressure going up and now having to take additional medications, um, it's important to keep in mind that the pregnancy is at risk. And that's why we have high risk pregnancy. And she was admitted to the hospital. Now, having come out of that, you said you had 4 children.
No, I have 2.
2 children.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened
And
during the second pregnancy?
okay, I raised 4, but I had 2. The second pregnancy, I was a little more aware. I was a little more educated in it.
Yes.
And this time I made sure I had a high risk doctor,
Good.
and he knew my medical history. It's good knowing your medical history.
Yes.
And during this time, I was still placed on medication, off the med. I don't know what new medications they're using now, but it did help me.
Yes.
I was more. This time I stopped working again. I still was in college, but I knew better. When you know better, you do
To do
better.
better. Let's say it again. When you
Know
know
better,
better,
you
do
do
better.
better. Mm-hmm.
Because there are many people who know they have high blood pressure. They know it.
Mm-hmm.
They've been told by many doctors. And if you're in the audience out there and you've been told before that you've had high blood pressure and you've kind of been poo-poo on it, just put it aside, pretending it doesn't exist, understand you run the risk of having a stroke. You run the risk of having a heart attack. Those are the consequences of keeping your blood pressure elevated. And yes, some people don't have symptoms. They don't notice the headache. They don't
Mm-hmm.
notice dizziness. They don't get chest pain. It's called the silent killer
Yes.
because sometimes you have no symptoms of at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going doctor to doctor or just having random checks and your blood pressure is above 140, pay attention. First thing you can do would be what recommendation you give. First thing to do if you're starting to have high blood pressure.
The first thing I would do, I would get in touch with my primary care doctor.
Yes.
Go in and see so you can get tests run. Follow the doctor's order. Watch your diet intake.
Diet. Yes.
Mainly get your family intake too. I mean your family background, because a lot of times can save you a lot of like early detection. I believe in intervention, early detection. Find out from your mama, your sister, your brother. Well, when I say your brother, find out about their wives or their sisters or their children, but mainly your mother, your grandmother, your grandparents, your
Yes.
aunties, because your family history is so important.
Yes, indeed.
Because as like me, I didn't know that we had this going on. When I was a little girl, I didn't know when my mom was in the hospital that she had a stroke and she was in a
Wow.
coma, because they
Wow.
don't tell you
They
these
don't talk.
things,
Yeah.
you
Isn't
know.
that interesting?
Hmm.
And it's concerning to me that we will have conversations
Hmm.
around dinner and at Thanksgiving, and we'll talk about the food and the game, and we'll talk about, who's getting divorced and who went to jail or
Hmm.
who's lost their job. But we won't have the really legitimate conversation that can save the lives of the
Save
members of
lives.
our family.
That's true.
And I'm requesting, if you're out there and you're listening and anybody in your family has high blood pressure, start having these conversations.
Hmm.
Start talking to one another about how to stay healthy. Healthy You is here to every month on the fourth Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and
Hmm.
it's designed to get a healthier garden. It's designed to make our community healthy. And the only way that's going to happen if we start sharing information.
Yes.
other than what you're wearing to Sunday dinner. We have to start sharing information that will save lives. If you had one recommendation that you could give to a woman who's pregnant, who's is her blood pressure is going up, what would you recommend?
My recommendation is to follow your doctor's orders. Follow, get the rest that you can. If the doctor tell you to get bed rest, do it. If they say drink plenty water, drink plenty water. Get moving, but mainly find out your background. Like now, even though my son now is 41, my other son is 40. I'm moving now. I do line dancing 3 days a week. I'm following my doctor's orders, everything she tells me to do. But the main thing
Is it working?
Is it just working?
Oh, we just want to make sure these orders are working.
Yeah, I follow instructions, but drink plenty of water, eat healthy, but mainly find out your family history.
Yes.
And it don't just fall just on the women, because recently I found out with my son that even though he's in a high stress job, he has high blood pressure at his age. And so sometimes it is hereditary, and he goes to the gym all day long. So it's not just you going to the gym. It's not that you people think because, oh, I'm not fat, I'm not slim, they think that it has to do with weight and all of that. That's nonsense.
Oh, that's a good point. Very important. It's good to have the foundational things: sleep, rest, exercise, nutrition. But even with all that, it is possible for your blood pressure to be elevated or for you to have heart disease. And the only way you're going to be able to combat that is knowing your family history, because sometimes elevated blood pressure occurs in families. And by knowing that, you can treat it early. Heart disease can run in families. So it's important that history does help. So you still have to do the foundation. You still have to eat right. You still have to exercise. But with a family history, it will help direct your preventative care early. So having that conversation with your primary care doctor, hey, my dad had a heart attack at 35, that will direct your care to really watch. As a physician, I would watch somebody who had an early family member with heart disease. I'd start their check of cholesterol early, getting them stress tests and echocardiogram, which is ultrasound of the heart, early. So yes, history matters, but never, never abandon the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
Because it does make a difference. Because I do know that without having followed those fundamentals, your life would have been shorter, quicker.
Amen. Amen.
So I'm so thankful. We're going to be wrapping up Heart Health Month, and the tip of the month for this wrap up of February for cardiovascular health is going to be: 1, know your history. 2, take your meds on time every day if you do have high blood pressure. 3, know your numbers. Know what your weight is. Know what your blood pressure is. And know if you have diabetes. Know your numbers. So with that being said, I want to thank you for coming to our show. And guys, remember, we are going into Jazz in the Gardens. And that's going to be on the 8th and 9th, actually starting from the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And I do hope to see everyone there. But if you are coming to Jazz in the Garden, it is an outside event. So please make sure you bring water or buy water. There'll be plenty of vendors there. And stay hydrated. And wear a hat if you're out in the sun, because the sun is vicious in South Florida. So hydration, covered, wear your sunscreen, and most importantly, though, have fun. Join me with Jazz in the Garden until next month, where we will be discussing women's health issues, starting with endometriosis. See you next time. Have a great, great day, and also a healthy you.